Uncertainty is part and parcel of life. I'm releasing the podcast for episode 8 right after a month because of some other commitments and personal reasons that crept into the way. But as they say, nothing but you can stop yourself from doing what you like the most. And this is actually a promise I made to myself that I am taking this channel for the home run. It's good to be back, and we are here to continue the prequel of episode 8 today. In the prequel, we spoke about Arjun and his personal journey, and today we're going to lay emphasis on Dr. Vaidyas as a company, its products, and the need of new age Ayurveda. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Arjun sir, welcome to Out of the Hood with Hamza, episode number 8. Today, I think both of us are going to create something super special for our listeners, and it's a big milestone for my show as well. My audience falls in the sweet spot of 18 to 25 years old. Ayurveda is something they might know of but have not taken active interest in. I would request you to use this platform to communicate the benefits of Ayurvedic products to them and how it can transform their life by just adding it to their daily routine.
So I think the first question that Hamza asked me is a large part of the audience is 18 to 25 years old and they don't know the benefits of Ayurveda, right? And so I think it's really important, and our vision at Dr. Vedas and our view at Dr. Vedas is to make Ayurveda easy to understand, palatable, appealing, and accessible to modern new age consumers, right? I grew up in a family with Ayurveda, and so I'm biased towards the science, but really for people like you and listeners of Hamza, I think it's really important to go back to the basics, right? Ayurveda is not just medicine, it's not just pills, it's not just herbs. Ayurveda stands for the science of life. It comes from two Sanskrit words, Ayu and Veda, loosely meaning the science of life. And so Ayurveda is more than just medicine, it's a way of life. And the most important thing about Ayurveda is the Dincharya, right? And so in these times, following a healthy daily routine, eating healthy, sleeping enough, having an active lifestyle, practicing yoga, all of these things are very important. If I give you just a few basic ways you can practice simple Ayurveda in today's times of the pandemic, I think the first and most important thing is start your day instead of with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea with a cup of kadha. Right? Kadha is an immunity boosting Ayurvedic decoction, which is very easy to consume, right? And we have a simple powder that you can just put in hot water. The other thing is have an immunity boosting Ayurvedic supplement or herb, right? Try ashwagandha, try amla, try gila, or try chavanprash, or our version of chavanprash, which chavanprash in a capsule, which is herbofit, right? If you just take these basic steps, which are so easy to practice, you can incorporate Ayurveda in your daily life.
Absolutely, even I think Ayurveda is not just a one time thing, it's a way of life, and you need to build it in order to make it a habit. Now, if we talk about Dr. Vaidya's, it has a range of very interesting and beneficial Ayurvedic products that I myself had not heard about before I did the podcast. So, products like Live It Up and HerboFit are changing the game. And then you also spoke about the Kada that you launched. Could you expand on the idea that led to the formation of these products and your strategy to bring them to the masses?
I think very interesting question, Hamza, on the new age formulations, right? And that's the basis of what we do at Dr. Vedyas. The basis of what we do at Dr. Vedyas is new age Ayurveda. What I saw is that Ayurveda had lost a connect with modern consumers, right? I went to the US, I saw yoga being repackaged with yoga mats, yoga pants, yoga gyms, yoga apparel. This became a multi-billion-dollar industry in the US. Now, I grew up with Ayurveda myself, right? And I come from a biased background because my family's been in Ayurveda. I was cured of juvenile bronchitis using Ayurvedic treatment. And so for me, Ayurveda came as something simple, came as a way of life. But I saw an entire generation of Indian consumers lose complete touch and education with Ayurveda, right? If you ask someone today, what is the most important component of Chavanprash? Nobody will know that it's Amla. If you ask someone today, uh, what is Bringraj, they won't know it's the most important or one of the most important components of an Ayurvedic hair oil. And you know that's what we understood, right? At Dr. Vegas, we understood that that connect with modern consumers needs to be established, needs to be brought together. And so that's our vision with Dr. Vedas is to take 5,000 years of science and 150 years of family legacy and repackage and rebrand to appeal to modern consumers. And the examples you've talked about, right, Hamza? Live It Up, which is a hangover shield, right? We understand that consumers want to have a good time on the weekend, want to let off steam, but they still want to wake up fresh and protect their liver. Similarly, we saw with Chakash, right, which is our goodness of Chavanprash and toffee. Everybody understands the benefits of Chavanprash and its immunity boosting nature, but nobody understands or wants to consume that black, bitter, sticky paste. They don't think it's palatable enough, right? And so that's what we saw as a problem. We said kids of today will not consume Chavanprash because of its format, because of its taste, because of its nature. And so, can we give the ancient goodness of Chavanprash in a palatable format? And that led to the creation of Herbofit in a capsule form and Chakash in a toffee form to make this age old, amazing, immunity boosting Ayurvedic recipe into a 21st century modern format for the modern consumer.
I'm surely gonna be a customer to Live It Up and Herbofit after you've explained the benefits of it. Now I have a rather specific question I thought of is that if a young graduate like me is aspiring to explore the field of Ayurveda, what are the options available to him and where should he start his journey?
I think a specific question, but a very good question, Hamza, on how can a modern graduate be a part of the Ayurvedic ecosystem, right? So I think that there's two things you can do if you want to pursue Ayurveda. Obviously, go ahead and do a BAMS degree. It's a 4.5 to 5 year degree in a medical college. But if you just want to practice Ayurveda in your daily life, right? Uh, I think it's very easy to find enough information to make this practice a part of your daily life, right? And I'll tell you some simple resources available, right? There are multiple online courses available. You can go on our website and subscribe to a WhatsApp every day called Daily Ayurvedic Tips, and we'll send you one Ayurvedic tip on a daily basis. But just doing enough reading, enough viewing, and enough consumption of content to practice Ayurveda in a format that you can in your daily life. That is really the key for modern graduates today. I'm not saying go on 100% sattvic diet. I'm not saying stop eating after 6 p.m. if you can't do it. I'm not saying sleep 10 hours every night if you can't do it. But I'm saying take the basic principles, and that's our philosophy. Take as much as you can from the basic principles and make it a part of your life. That for me is what modern consumers, modern graduates, the young generation of today can do to become a part of the Ayurvedic ecosystem and spread the goodness of Ayurveda amongst their friends, family, and amongst the world. And I think as Indians, that's our responsibility.
I think Arjun says really simplified the process of Ayurveda, and as I've read, I think it takes 21 days to build an habit and 6 months to a lifestyle. So all the young adults out there can surely give a shot to Ayurveda and inculcate it as a part of their life. Moving on to the last segment, so I think this is a question that I ask all the entrepreneurs that come on my show that if there were top three learnings that they could share that they've acquired in their career, what would they be?
I think the last question on three tips is a very tough one because I've had a reasonably short entrepreneurial career, but I'll try to sort of talk about my three biggest learnings and how I've been able to sort of implement them in my life, right? The first learning is something that my father told me very early on in my entrepreneurial journey. He said that you learn nothing from success and all your learnings come from failure. And I think until I was able to get on my entrepreneurial journey and my entrepreneurial path, I didn't know what abject failure felt like. And I think rising up from that failure, even today, right? I'll be very honest and say today has not been an easy day for us at Dr. Vaidyas, but I think fighting through your worst day and pushing through it is extremely important. So I think dealing with failure is the first thing. The second big learning is being resilient but having thick skin, right? So we are in a situation where most companies went to zero sales for a few days, few weeks, few months, right? That's the biggest nightmare for any entrepreneur. And I think being resilient through that time period was extremely important. But I say resilient with thick skin because in difficult times, you have a lot of people who give you advice. But at the end of the day, one should take all the advice, but use only what's relevant. So have the thick skin to take in the advice, but not let it affect you, but have enough openness to be able to practice that advice. That's the second thing. And the third thing to me, which is extremely important, is building independence in the team, right? As entrepreneurs, you are very obsessed at micromanaging because you built the venture or the business from scratch. And there is only so much one person can do in one day, right? And I constantly struggle with this, and I'm not saying I have the right answer to this. But being able to build people who can do it at your level or a high level of efficiency to you is extremely important. So if you're asking for three learnings, I'd say those are the three learnings. It's been a pleasure to be on this conversation with you, Hamza, and I look forward to staying in touch and applaud the amazing work you're doing. Thanks.
So that's it from our side today. You can follow me on Instagram to check out more podcast related content. I'll also be mentioning all the links to Dr. Vaidyas and its products, so you can check them out there. Stay tuned for episode 9, and I'll see you all at the future podcasts.